I'm Tom, and I'm wondering what next for Daniel Dubois. He's coming off a defeat to Alexander Usyk, and this video isn't about that. Look, I think he perhaps quit in that fight. I think he could have kept on going, but ultimately, I think it would have been to no avail, because ultimately, the bottom line is Usyk would have won that fight one way or another. So all he did was save himself from more pain. A fight of that magnitude, undisputed heavyweight championship of the world, should he have got up? Yeah, probably. Could he have beaten him though? Absolutely not. But let's talk about what the actual next steps for Daniel Dubois are. I think when we look at this fight, it's important to look to isolate a few factors. That pre-fight party was moronic. It was stupid. It was so many things that I don't actually think Daniel Dubois had a say in. I think his dad is taking advantage of his son. I'm sorry, someone's got to say it. I think his dad takes advantage of his son, took advantage of him in that instance, had this pre-fight party, but ultimately it didn't cost him the fight. Would the outcome have been different? No. Would it have got there differently? Maybe. Maybe he'd have been better prepared, lasted a couple more rounds, but at the end of the day, that fight was only going to end one way. So whilst I disagree with that party and think it was very stupid, well, more than that, it wouldn't have changed the outcome. But it explains reasons like that why Caroline Dubois left her dad. It explains why he was late to the venue. It explains why he needs to leave his dad. Not only was he late, his corner was a mess. And his corner, if we're honest, has been a mess for a while. You know, it's only coming to light now. I'd say it's only coming to light. It's only becoming talked about as much now because of what happened against Usyk. But if we're honest about it, his corner has been a mess for quite a while now. It's about time he leaves his dad. I get the relationship he's got is great, but Don Charles is a great trainer, and Don Charles is the one that got him there. He needs to leave his dad and listen to Don Charles. That's why Caroline Dubois left. That's why he needs to leave. It's all a bit of a mess. So who actually should he fight? Let's talk about Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker is somebody that I think is extremely unlikely to see that fight because now he's Usyk's mandatory. Not only is he Usyk's mandatory, he's Usyk's next mandatory. So Usyk has to fight him or vacate the belt. If he vacates the belt, it's a possibility we see Parker versus Dubois next. Unlikely, but it is a possibility we see Parker versus Dubois for the WBO belt. Or Parker versus Atama. But I wouldn't mind seeing Parker versus Dubois. I think it would be a bad choice for Dubois because I think Parker beats Dubois. I picked Parker to beat Dubois when they were supposed to fight. And I'd pick him now, especially after he lost to Usyk. A good boxer with that skill set has the answers to Dubois' game plans, Dubois' boxing ability. But it's still two top 5 heavyweights boxing. That's the fight we'd be getting. It doesn't make massive sense though with Dubois coming off of a loss, Parker on perhaps the greatest streak other than Usyk himself, which is just, that needs to be studied, the streak that Usyk's on. So I don't see it happening, but it's an option. What about Tyson Fury? Look, again, it won't happen, but it actually could make sense if you think about it. If Tyson Fury comes back and beats Daniel Dubois, he puts himself straight back up in the mix with claims to be able to fight Usyk. Look, I beat Dubois as well, especially if he beats Dubois in, say, 3 rounds or 4 rounds, quicker than Usyk does, more convincingly than Usyk does, more one-sided than Usyk does, which I'm not saying he would, but if he does, that could be an option for Fury to put himself back in the mix. If Frank Warren wants to start using Dubois as almost like a gatekeeper rather than as a potential champion, obviously he's got Atama himself, maybe he wants to do that. He's got Parker as well. Maybe he wants to go down that route with Dubois rather than getting him back to the top of the pile. So that's an option. And obviously if Dubois goes and beats Fury, then he puts himself right back at the top, like the very top. If he goes and beats Fury other than Usyk, he could say, look, I've beat them all. I beat Fury. I beat AJ. I'm the man in the division now. I'm the guy of British boxing. So Fury's actually an option that makes a little bit more sense. What about the Hrgovic versus Adeleye winner? He's already beat Hrgovic once. If Hrgovic beats Adeleye, which I'd be tipping him to do, and he goes and fights Hrgovic, it's a rematch. It's a rematch of a fight that was stopped via a cut. It's a rematch for a fight that Dubois does get a bit of critiquing about, especially by me, because of how many right hands he was swallowing. So what about the Hrgovic rematch? Again, beats another top 10 heavyweight, more confidently, more convincingly, puts himself back up there. Hrgovic is on his own little rebuild at the moment. Hrgovic could make a lot of sense. He could have a pick between Fabio Wardley and Justice Honey. Perhaps not Fabio Wardley because that's Frank's man, But Justice Honey's Eddie Hearns, man. What about Justice Honey or Fabio Wardley? Justice Honey's coming off a loss himself, just like Daniel Dubois. Justice Honey's a good boxer. It might be good for Dubois to get in there against a good boxer who'll probably be beating him on the scorecards and try and do what Wardley did and knock him out. And have that self-belief that even when he is down on the scorecards, like he was against Usyk, he can pull the knockouts out the bag. Or Fabio Wardley, 2 punches. You're just waiting. That does not see the end of the fight. You're just waiting for somebody to get knocked out. And it's one that you could absolutely see Dubois winning. Not only that, Fabio Wardley boxes at the same gym as Moses Itauma. Now, Moses Itauma is the prospect. He is the guy with the future. It'd be good to get Fabio Wardley, not out of the gym, but you can't have that at the mix, not 2 top prospects. And if you feed him to Dubois and Dubois knocks him out, it's a win-win for Frank because it means he's got Itauma out of that gym that's now the man and Dubois that beats him and puts himself back up there. But for me, the fight I want to see, what I would like to see Daniel Dubois do is the AJ rematch. I really want to see that. I wanted to see that before the Parker fight, before the Usyk fight. I want to see AJ rectify where he went wrong. I could be on my own here. I could be one of the only ones that want to see it. But now they're both coming off of losses. They're both coming off of knockout losses, both pretty bad knockout losses. That's absolutely an option, the AJ rematch. And it would be another huge event. Not as big as the first one, just the nature of them both coming off of losses, but it would be a massive event, an event that I actually would like to see. So for me, take some time off, relax, sort your corner out, come back stronger with Don Charles, have the AJ rematch. That's my opinion, people. Let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, a comment, subscribe. You know how that stuff works, people. Peace.